Yeah. Thank you for rejoining our session. We will continue with a 40 to 45 minutes panel discussion. As you can see, I'm very specific on time. It'll be a probably a interesting and insightful discussion on some of the challenges and opportunities in capacity building that could be, to some extent, accommodated to the Digital Europe program, specifically in cybersecurity. I have 3 microphones in my hands, so I'm going to distribute them to this great panel of speakers. Starting from my left, Ms. Valeria Popescu of DNSC. Thank you very much for joining us. Mr. Duncan Pan was supposed to join us. Unfortunately, his flight got delayed. So Valeria will represent DNSC in our discussion. Continuing with Alex Mushat, the head of Incident Response and Security Operations for BitSentinel. Coming up with Mr. Sorin Stanica, the head of Crime Prevention Bureau of the Romanian Police. And finally, but definitely not formally, Mr. Thomas Hetic, an alternate board member of the ECCC. Esteemed speakers, I'm going to distribute the microphones in no particular order, so we'll have to probably pass the microphone. As most of the audience already discovered during our previous session, our key focus here is on capacity building, on essentially building up on what now constitutes a state-of-the-art in terms of improving and pushing forward the cybersecurity collaboration education at EU level, while benefiting from the opportunities provided through programs such as Digital Europe or even Horizon Europe. We can, of course, extend this to most of the frameworks provided by the European Union through the EC. I've prepared 2 topics of discussion, right? And I'd like to approach them one at a time, maybe keep a 3 to 4 minutes answer to each of those for each speaker. Let's first discuss what are the principal challenges in developing such key capacity areas at European Union level, such as artificial intelligence, progress in cybersecurity, education and awareness at population and state level, and why not incoming technologies such as quantum computing. Valeria, would you like to start? Maybe we can, yeah?
Would you like to start? Or I can break the ice, I have no issues with that.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay. Because I have the mic, so...
Yeah, sure, thanks.
I'm the lucky possessor of the mic. First of all, thank you for having me here in this panel. It's truly an honor for me to be here. Second time at DefCamp as a presenter. For the ones who already know me, you will see that I usually like to speak from experience, so I'm not that politically correct, so I'm going to say things that I've observed during my so-and-so vast career in cybersecurity, 17 years. So when it comes to challenges while building the capacity, of cybersecurity capacity at the European Union level, I would start first. So I have like three main pillars. I will start first with the European Union legislation for cybersecurity. What do I mean by that is that I truly believe that at this point we have a lot of legislation in place. You name it. We have the Digital European program for digitalization, and digitalization is the backbone of cybersecurity, if you ask me. We have the European Union policy for cyber defense. We have various directives, NIS2 nowadays. I know that last week on the 20th, it was published the Cyber Resilience Act in the European Union Journal. So and so forth and so forth. I mean, we have lots of legislation in place. The thing is that, from my perspective, at times this legislation can be a bit dense and cumbersome. You start by looking at a specific, directive or a piece of document, and you start studying it, and then it just references to another documents and maybe to a dozen more, and so on and so forth. And it can get quite fast messy in your head, and quite painful. If I may joke a bit, if I would, there is an aphorism attributed to Bernard de Clairvaux, who says that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So we have to be a bit careful, if you ask me. Maybe some of the documentation can be a bit lighter, more pragmatical, more surgical. Why not? The second aspect is that the resources constraints, if you ask me. I believe that the lack of skilled cybersecurity professionals across European Union creates this climate that companies have to and member states have to compete for a limited pool of talent. I think that we should continuously and further develop training programs through academia and involving the private sector, definitely, because they can bring a breadth of expertise from operations, right, the private sector. Another aspect that I've seen is that simply some countries are wealthier than others. I mean, it's a fact, and maybe they are more mature, maybe they understand better the cybersecurity phenomena, maybe they have more political will, maybe they just prioritize cybersecurity better. And I have a story that backs this up. Last year I had this opportunity to coordinate Romanian teams of specialists participating in a cybersecurity exercise, a hands-on cybersecurity exercise for the energy sector, which took place in Warsaw with my friends from the NSC. Basically 5 days we just competed with other cybersecurity specialists, and we also had this opportunity to discuss a bit, to expand on various things that are going on in our countries. And at some point the member state, they literally said, cybersecurity, building cybersecurity, we have unlimited budget. And I was, wow, it sounds quite fancy, unlimited budget. And I said, okay, what can we better do to have this? Of course, increase political commitment, better accessing of the EU funding, and further, invest in the private sector and academia and so on and so forth. And the last one, because you said 3 to 4 minutes, probably this you won't expect this from my side, but another challenge that I observed is that at some points we lack a full cooperation between member states. What do I mean by that? I mean, sometimes we don't really act like a big European family who shares the same values. What do I mean by that? And I'm not going to generalize. Nonetheless, I've been part of various European projects, different workshops, exercises, events, you name it, along the years. And what I've seen is that we do a tremendously well job while delivering as a community of specialists within the project. But once the project is done, we've seen its success, right, leading it to its success, then we rarely do follow-ups. I mean, extremely rare. It happened to me, to go to a counterpart, to a different country. I say, I don't know, just ask simple questions, send an email. Maybe you don't get an answer to the email, then pick up the phone and said, hey man, how have you been since we've last talked? What kind of challenges do you have? Can I give you a helping hand? These are my problems. How did you tackle those? How can you help me out? Learning from other people's lessons and, to ease up your work in the end and contributing to the European Union cyber resilience in that way. I mean, we all know that cybersecurity is a team sport, so you should train to play it better, right, in the end, as a team at the European Union level. Thanks.
Comprehensive answer to this question. Maybe we should move a bit to your right and have Valeria and DNSC's opinion on this.
Yes, thank you so much, Ivan. Well, first of all, I would like to thank you, the organizer, on behalf of Mr. Duncan Pan, for the invitation of such a great event in the eastern part of Europe. It's the biggest one. My name is, as you said, Valeria Popescu. I'm representing here the NSC on behalf of the Department Project International and National Projects. As you all may know, DNSC is the main authority in the field of cybersecurity in Romania. It's a public body. Well, regarding the subject of the panel, I would like to focus on two important aspects that we are starting to focus our attention inside the DNSC, education, and also participating in international project and national one. Also the awareness part, as Alexandru said, it is very important because the population must be informed on which are the risks and also which are the opportunities that the field of cybersecurity come to them. Regarding the education, we are involved in the partnership with the most important universities in Romania. We are implementing project with them. Also, inside this project, we try to put together the private sector, academia, and also other public bodies. Regarding the digital programs, nowadays, we have a lot of important part of regulation, and also at the European level, there are open a lot of programs that entities could apply off. I would mention the Digital Europe program, Horizon program, and also European Defence Fund regarding this important topic nowadays, and also Interreg Europe. There are some important topics that we can talk about, and also I would like to put the focus on the involvement of the academia and also of our partners at the national level. Well, from our part, also it's important the training. Inside the DNSC, we are starting the training for our personnel, but also we start training to the people from universities, professors, students, and also teenagers. So this is our opinion on this topic, and I would like to pass the floor to my next colleague. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I mean, it's not maybe the sound maybe from me or from other speakers, it's hard. Maybe just short explanations about some abbreviations. So ECCC is the European Cyber Competence Center, which is also the Romanian NSC or NSA is part. And Mr. Kimpan is a board member of the ECCC, like me. And I am from Slovakia, so maybe, okay, excuse my English. And I'm from the semi-budgetary state organization, which is a national competence center. So also here, Romanian NSC is in the role of NCC, the National Coordination Center for Cybersecurity. And maybe we have almost 5 years of the activity, and we just started in just before the COVID, January 2020. As a part of European network of coordination centers. So this, maybe you know, the European legislation about the network of competence centers started in 2018 maybe. So after some vision of NSA, or National Security Authority Director in Slovakia, we set up the Slovak Coordination Center. So, and we are specializing for the audit, for the certification, for the consulting education in cybersecurity. And if you ask about how to advancing skills and the capacity building, so we are still in close contact with Romania and Mr. Gimpan, and meeting during regular meetings on the ECCC events. Slovakia is maybe one of the first countries who establish official national coordination center from EU funding. We won the project, or maybe we applied for the European funding, and we got it. We are just finishing maybe the first round, and we already successfully applied for the second round, like NCC2 from 25 to 28. So this next term is for 4 years. So also we are in close contact with Romania on it. And so we just set up maybe the ecosystem from some state money, from the European money, and also the European funding, and also some internal project like audit and consulting for the public sector. So we just maybe started as like in 2 people, maybe in January 2020. Now we have the team about 15 internal professionals and maybe 40 experts, like external experts, just for the audits, for the consulting, for education. And we already succeeded in FSTP, it's a cascade funding. So we got the money for the NCC, and the second part is for the cascade funding. So we are just now closing the first call with about €2 million for 45 subjects, 45 companies, like small and medium enterprises, or SME sector, about enhancing cybersecurity skills. So maybe the call was very simple, not very complicated, just preparing the organizational measures as analysis, as some documentation about in cybersecurity, and we just finishing now the contracts. And February 2025 we will close this call. And also maybe the Mrs. from NSC, Mrs. Popescu, knows that another call from the ECCC and from European Commission about funding. So you still need to have maybe the money for the centers itself, and then you have money for the cascade funding. It's not, you could not just tear it apart. So, and this is to fund the other companies and to prepare the call, prepare the control, prepare all the papers. This is very, very challenging process, and depends on your legislation and Slovak legislation. Sometimes we have more bureaucracy maybe than the Brussels.
It's actually a good answer, and we will ping back on that later on the actual opportunities followed by CCC. And Sorin, what's your take on this?
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I have to say that I'm first time here at DefCamp, and thank you very much for inviting the Romanian police to be here. I would start with a few words about me. I'm, as you said, the head of crime prevention office, which means we deal not only with cybercrime, but all kinds of criminality that can affect citizens or organizations in Romania. Which brings me to the first challenge from our perspective, that we don't have to deal only with one type of crime, and we have to be a little bit specialized in all kinds of crimes. It's a special challenge for us because actually most of us are police officers, not cyber experts. But on the other hand, in more than 15 years experience in crime prevention, I realized that our most important tool and a very important opportunity for us is the partnership. This is actually what we do, and I will offer you an example of good practice that Romanian police have started almost 5 years ago, together with the DNSC. Yes. It's quite hard for me to say those initials in English, and because I'm so used to work with them almost every day in cybercrime prevention projects, and especially, as I said, the online safety, Siguranța Online in Romanian online safety project that we have started in 2020, I think, or 2021. I just don't remember, because we've developed so many activities. It's a good example for us because together with those two public entities, we've had a lot of partners. BitSentinel was one of the partners at the beginning when we started with other companies who supported us to implement targeted campaigns for bringing a little more awareness and digital education to children, to the population, because in the end, I've seen a lot of people here this morning, but I have noticed something. There was nobody who didn't actually use the mobile phone since they've entered, including me. So, which means that no matter what kind of specialist, experts, entrepreneurs, employees or employers we are, in the end we are individual users of the internet, which means that with no exception we are exposed to online threats, frauds or other kind of threats. So this is what we do in the Romanian police. We try to come to the people as individual users to make them aware of the threats, of the vulnerabilities, to raise awareness and to give them the basic solution on how to recognize the threats and how to mitigate the threats. Because people are not ready to deal with the threats that technology comes with. Okay, we have AI, we have a lot of technology that comes with a lot of benefits. But unfortunately, they also come with a lot of threats and vulnerabilities for the individual user. So this is what we have to do to set up and build partnerships and to come to the people to raise awareness about the risks.
So, thank you. It was actually very insightful because we did touch upon some of what probably the panel considers as being the principal challenges in addressing the development of key capacity areas in the European Union, right? We've discussed the gap between the resources that are needed to push forward and have a healthy approach to basically technology pipelining to our day-to-day. We've discussed, of course, the need for awareness and training, learning, continuous formation for the general public, but for the various institutions at an institutional level, right, in EU, starting from ECCC and then moving forward to the Romanian police, the national police, ENISA, right, the NSC. So there are a lot of things that could best be approached to in order to move forward with this momentum that we've gained in probably our previous 10 or so years as participants in such programs as Digital Horizon Europe. And Thomas, you did touch upon some of the actual opportunities, right? And this, you probably want to add something, and I will give you the mic, and then we will move to our second topic of discussion that basically deals with innovation and opportunities. Tell me.
Thank you. So you mentioned the challenges, maybe, and the opportunities. So yes, the NIS2, maybe as a new European legislation brings, the new framework. Maybe depends on your national legislation. What do you have in Romania, in Slovakia? Every country needs to adapt maybe the NIS2 to their according legislation because it's directive, not regulation. So maybe and the opportunity, I think, for our countries and maybe our people just to strengthen the capacity and maybe the capabilities of the companies. That's why in Europe there are maybe billions maybe of euros to support maybe to increase the level. But okay, you will have a more regulation because okay the behind still are the people and the companies and if you need more audits, if you need more consulting, more awareness, because all the threats are moving to the cyber war, maybe cyberspace. So now you have attackers now are not maybe with the masks maybe in the cars, but now you have 16-year-olds, kids maybe in pyjama who hacked your enterprise completely. So now this is the new standard. So yes, maybe the Europe has the money. Maybe we need to set up some programs to help the companies and also maybe the people. But then you need managers, you need the specialists, you need and where to find them. You said about the capacity building and the people. So maybe what could be the solution? We need in Europe, I think maybe according to Gartner, we need 500,000 specialists in IT and in cyber. Globally, I think 2.5 million. So it's a lot of people. Where to find them? How to train them. Even all your universities, or maybe all Slovak universities, if all of them will start with education in cyber now, you will maybe close the gap maybe in 20 years, because then you could have hundreds, maybe thousands of people every year. You have more. But if all university, so maybe try to find maybe the other source maybe of the specialists, maybe the IT guys. Maybe we have an army of IT specialists, admins, application administrators. A lot of people work in IT, the database. So they are doing the security or cybersecurity now. They need just to upskill. They need maybe just some steps to close. A lot of them are doing maybe 80%. They don't know how to. Just don't know maybe the terminology. What is IDS, IPS, what is LAN segmentation, or sometimes they know. So maybe just to give them the formal upskilling or the education, or some of them are already good enough, just certify them. So maybe it's on our countries, maybe our legislation to set up some certification frameworks to certify, to confirm their knowledge and maybe their abilities, like certified auditor or certified manager. So, and there are also other worldwide known certification where the specialists and the people in IT and security could just be more visible, and and could help also other people to get it. And then this is the marathon. This is not the sprint. So even if we upskill the IT guys, even if we support academia and the universities in changing the programs and helping them with the study programs, with accrediting education system, it will take years. So it will take next 5 to 10 years, and that's why maybe all the new calls from European Commission, or so from other agencies, will be about awareness, upskilling, and education of the people. So there are a lot of with the big power comes a big responsibility. So yes, now we need a lot of people. Yes, and we just need to think about how to find them.
You actually did a very good job in anticipating our next topic of discussion. That's opportunities, mostly opportunities through education. So education is fundamental, right? It's at the foremost level of what we can achieve in terms of both increasing our capacity to understand our threat context, to understand our needs, in order to form, to upskill, to improve our capabilities, to drive further the digitalization in Europe. But it is at the same time one of those key subject areas that has been, to some extent, and at least in some parts of Europe, always deprioritized, right? Because of lack of resources, because probably, for lack of my better words, because of lack of interest. So what are some of the opportunities that could be brought forward to such programs and to collaboration at EU level in terms of improving awareness, education, upskilling, right? And even regulatory compliance with what we now have as a overly bureaucratic approach to regulating pretty much everything. And maybe, Sorin, maybe you can continue and we can move this way, right?
I will start with the joke. I have a smartphone, I have a smart TV, I have a smart fridge and other smart things. I'm the only idiot left in the house. So what do we have to do is to work together to try to raise awareness, to make people understand that you cannot drive such a spaceship as the internet and its technology with a bicycle driving license. Because, as I said, we all use internet daily, and probably there is no person in Romania that doesn't use internet daily, or almost. But most of us don't have the necessary knowledge on how to actually deal with this spaceship. So this is where the point where we have to move on. As I said, in my opinion, the partnership and the partnership between all stakeholders, because I mentioned our cooperation with the public and the private sector. We have different attributions, and we have to be aware, each of us, about our attributions, about what we have to do, what our skills, and to come to spread this to all the people. Because, as I said, there is no one who is actually protected against the cyber threats, and we have to understand, to cooperate. Firstly, we have to understand them, and then to be able to spread the information to all the people. Each of us as an individual, but also our organizations, have to cooperate. This is, in my opinion, our most important tool, cooperation, because we have different possibilities to come to the general population, because they are the most vulnerable, and we have to try to help the most vulnerable persons.
Yeah. So essentially, it's collaboration at the institution level and disseminating best practices and common practices to the general public. That's actually a good take. Alex, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, so I will expand a bit on this topic as well, and I'm going to touch base on innovation as well. I think it's all about the human beings in the end, the people behind the technology. I truly believe that cybersecurity and technology are or should be about people. Technology utilization, and I would say in a safe manner, makes our lives better. But utilizing, technology in a safe manner means educating people. From an innovative point of view, I think that we should further invest in training platforms that have at their backbone like technologies such as gamified simulations, like emerging experiences such as virtual reality or maybe even augmented reality, and provide, as a starting point, basic cybersecurity knowledge to the people who are not in cyber. And why am I saying that? Historically, we've done a pretty decent job while training cybersecurity professionals, IT folks. There is lots of curriculum, lots of types of exercises, red team, blue team, purple team, Jeopardy, capture the flag, and so on and so forth. But when it comes to regular people, they sometimes tend to be reluctant to learning these skills, and I know that for a fact. I'm just thinking of my older folks back home, right? It's quite painful for me to convince my dad, hey, Dad, set up a multi-factor authentication on your banking account. And he says, Alex, but I'm poor. What are they going to steal? And I say, well, if you're going to lose those few money that you have in your banking account, it will be excruciating. So we have to find a way to provide the information to the most vulnerable amongst us in such a way that it will be easy and fun for them to learn. And I think this innovative approach would be one way of doing it. I mean, as I said, so humans, I mean, people in cybersecurity are both cybersecurity professionals, people with IT background, but also the general public. And we should definitely focus that. And that could be an innovative approach of doing it.
And this is a bit of a shameless plug on my part, because we are working together with BitSentinel and we are really pushing education through hands-on experiences. So if you haven't done it already, you should check out cyberedu.co. It's probably, I mean, in my very biased opinion, it is the best platform for cybersecurity learning out there. Everything's right there on that platform. You can start from just learning basic interactions with some SSH service, through SSH with some service, and then end up solving some of the challenges in the DefCamp CDF, right, of the previous years. In somewhat of a closing, let's have Valeria add her opinion on what innovation can actually bring forward in terms of education to the challenges that we've discussed today.
Yes, thank you, Ivan. I will start with 3 keywords from my colleagues. Financing opportunity from Thomas, cooperation from Mr. Sanica, and learning from Alexandru, where I think that one of the most important challenges that nowadays we are facing, let's say it open, it's that not enough SMEs and academia part are accessing funds and opportunities at the European level. It's a small number of them that are having access at that type of financing, and one of the reasons is that the information, it's a lack of information and the lack of sources that they can access and they can understand that can be used at a facility level for them. In our part, we are supporting students and teenagers. Recently was in Turin, the cybersecurity contest, and the team of Romania was on 8th place, if I am right,
yep,
from 30 teams. We are proud of them and we sustain them there.
There's actually 37
yes,
playing teams, and we were in 8th place.
Yes, 8th place, where also BitSentinel, the organizer of this event, was sustained at the contest. Well, the SMEs on the IT part and also cybersecurity, it is important to access this foundation. Also at the European level, the national ones also, but it is our, I don't know, our responsibility as the part of the ecosystem, also academia, also SMEs, and also public bodies, to inform them. I invite you all to access our platforms. The NSE is very active on the internet, LinkedIn, also our website, and there you can find all the opportunities that we are collecting. Now we are part on more than 20 projects, European projects implementing, and already accessed another 10. And we are trying to involve as much as we can the SMEs part of the cybersecurity area. On the other hand, of the university level, we are trying to involve in create the programma for master's programs and also bachelor. And that's why we are staying in touch with the professors, with the students, and also with the university's capacity to stay in touch with them, to inform them, and also to try to be inside their university programs. Speaking about cooperation, we are staying in touch with other partners under government and also at the European level, and we are trying to face it like a strong part of the ecosystem in the cybersecurity level. Well, this is
Thank you.
my opinion. Thank
Thomas, I believe you have something to add.
When you ask about the challenges, you know, and Sorin mentioned the cooperation. You know, the cooperation. Yes, I'm maybe working for the state for 5 years, but before 25 years, I worked maybe for the private sector, maybe for pharmaceutical industry, quite enough money for IT and for security. So the challenge, to come to the state organization, okay, and maybe there's a bureaucracy, and also the cooperation between other ministries and other stakeholders. So, National Security Authority, maybe then the Ministry of Interior or Ministry of Informatization. So the issue is maybe also the state of the cybersecurity and their preparedness maybe for the new era, and it's very low. I did tens of audits in public sector, and the situation maybe was not very good, maybe to be very politically speaking. But now it's improving. Now there are money maybe in the Europe. We need to maybe reduce maybe the bureaucracy, and we need to improve the cooperation between the state stakeholders like the ministries, and because still the cyber is very big topic for them. So even the Ministry of Interior is still focusing maybe on the police, maybe on the other organization in their area. So we need to increase the awareness still to speak maybe almost about the same, how it is. And then, you get the money when you are hacked. Maybe when you had an incident, okay, just solve it, okay, at any cost. So increasing the cooperation, increasing the awareness, finding the talents, maybe as a European cybersecurity challenge, when in Turin. Okay, yes, we are 20th place. You are a bigger country. You are 9th in total. We are 20th, and yes, it was a good example. How you could spend maybe the European money. This is maybe the ECSC as the talents, and also maybe this event, for the young people, young hackers. Maybe it's one of the best spending of the money. Maybe just to get the people involved, maybe to cybersecurity, and because this is the real world. Maybe not just speaking with the old professors and at our universities, how to change, programs. We will not speak with senior managers, 50 plus. Okay, I'm 50 plus, about changing of the mindset completely. So we need to ask maybe these young people here, okay, what they recommend, okay, what they would like to do. If I give you, 1 million, what will you do? How will you increase the situation? They will give you, hundreds of ideas.
Thank you for that. Sorin, would you like to add something?
I just wanted to add that cyber threats generally and cybercrime especially, because I deal with cybercrime or with crimes, but cybercrimes are constantly evolving. Cyber criminals have a very good capacity to adapt their methods, but in the end, they actually want only one thing: our money. They try to steal our data, they try to break into our system or other things, but in the end, they want our money. And we have to be aware that the technology gives them those means to try to do that or to help them, but also the technology gives us the means to fight against them. And we have to do this, as I said, in cooperation and addressing all kinds of beneficiaries. Children, adults, seniors, everyone can be targeted, and we have to go to them. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We probably have to wrap up. So maybe one half-a-minute statement from Alex. Yep.
My turn, right?
You're right.
So, because we've touched on this quite an important topic, education, and because it became quite trivial discussing about artificial intelligence, machine learning, these types of technology, I think we can utilize it also for educating people. Because, I mean, by background, it's mostly in operation and cybersecurity, and those practices benefited quite a lot from artificial intelligence, machine learning. because they reduce the time to respond to cybersecurity incidents, so that you can free up human time to do higher level analysis, maybe decision making. They can help you automate the response at certain level, so they are quite useful. When it comes to public education, I mean, not people necessarily who are experts in a certain domain. For instance, if I take a look at ChatGPT and I ask ChatGPT a question, I'm good enough to understand the answer because I'm an expert in cybersecurity. So I'm good enough to understand if the answer is, that bullshit word, pardon my French, or not. But I've seen, even in businesses, I've seen professionals that took the information from ChatGPT and take it from the left, apply the diode method, if you know, the information goes just one way, and put it on the right. I've seen people utilizing, to write emails, business emails in Romanian, and it did not sound quite well in Romanian. I said, what the hell is this? I mean, have you read it? Oh, no, it's perfectly fine. So, because the human mind, when you learn, it's a process. If you just put in a question and you receive an answer, it's go with it. You do not give the time for your mind to process it and to learn in the end. So I think that even though this technology is incredibly productive, it can help you a lot, then we have to be extra careful on how to utilize it in the end. So it's a two-edged sword, if you ask me.
Thank you. Thank you for your very important takes on what we can actually achieve in terms of opportunity and what at the European Union level we can actually consume in order to drive these opportunities, right? We've discussed funding for both stakeholders and third parties, right? Because many of the projects that that have been discussed earlier and many of the projects that are part of the Digital Europe program or Horizon Europe actually allow for cascading funding, right, for third parties that are not principal stakeholders in those projects to attach their ambition to the overall architecture and the overall goals of those activities and to gain in terms of course, increasing their capacity. Now, wrapping up and in closure, I'd like to add something regarding AI and machine learning, basically, because of course we have to touch base on that. It was Matt Veloso, he's an former Microsoft alumni, he's now leading the research in AI and machine learning at Google. It's actually research in machine learning and computer intelligence at Google. And he once written on Twitter that if it's written in PowerPoint, it's basically artificial intelligence. If it's written in Python or Go, it's machine learning. That's like a not that funny joke for most of the audience of DefCamp, but probably for some. In conclusion, I truly believe that we had a great conversation, a truly insightful and valuable discussion. There are many of opportunities for both public and private sector entities in the Digital Europe program, but for SMEs alike, right? DEP is a program that favors SMEs. So if you have your own startup, your idea that you want to build on top of it in terms of developing some cybersecurity, quantum computing, artificial intelligence thing that's not already there, then you could probably benefit from learning a bit more about Digital Europe program. Thank you very much for having us and for, going through these 2.5 hours of discussing things that probably are not that familiar to most of the audience. Have a great DefCamp. Thanks.
Thank you.